What's up, everybody? Welcome to the High Level Husband Podcast. I'm Tommy McAllister. I'm going to do this episode right here. I'm going to call it the TMI episode, the Too Much Info episode. I'm going to kind of go on a couple of stories that have happened in my life, one really recently and one maybe a couple months ago, that have really stood out to me as moving the needle forward in our relationship a lot, but also show the goodness of God a lot and has a lot of, ramifications in our faith life and all of that. I do want to apologize. The last few times of these podcasts, my voice has been raspy. It's allergy season out here in Vegas, and so my voice is raspy. Also had hours on end of coaching calls today, so my voice is feeling it. But man, I got this just little vibe tonight that I wanted to get on here and just drop this message. And so the first one is earlier this week, and as you guys know, me and my wife have a healthy sex life. And I know that, like, I say that and sometimes people think it's flexing. No, what it is it's a very important part of a relationship, but it's also something about us that I'm very proud of because we've been together for 24 years and not, I would say 99.9% of the relationships that have been together for as long as we have don't have the sex life that we have. And it's just such a cool dynamic that we have between each other, and it only gets better. And it's only been getting better because of the way we lead ourselves and all this other stuff. And that's not necessarily what this episode's about, but I wanted to share some stuff on there because it helps other people understand what good choices will do in relationships, in life, and all of that. Well, earlier this week, like I said, we have a plenty of sex, me and my wife. And so usually if it's been like a day since we haven't, or possibly two, we know it's game on. At some point in time in that day, we know it's game on. Typically, we've been flirting with each other throughout the day. For everybody out there, foreplay starts from the moment you wake up, and there's plenty of different things that you can do to start that foreplay, to really rev the engine up for when that moment happens. And that's from just hugging, or maybe in a little inappropriate touch, or just saying certain things to each other, or just loving on each other and having emotional intimacy. But there's so many of those little things that we can do, but that's what this is not. This episode's not about that. But so it had been a couple of days, and I knew, like, okay, we about to get after it tonight. Well, and Diane knew it. So, and she's always game, believe me, and she loves it. Heck, she initiates just as much as I do. But she tells me, she's like, babe, and she can probably get mad at me for saying this, but she's like, man, my stomach's kind of erect and I don't know what I ate, but it's like, man, the typical woman thing, I'm bloated or I'm this. And she was basically saying that, but not as an excuse, because if she didn't want to sex, she would just tell me. That's not the excuse. And she was just like, yeah, and telling me that about it. And I was like, okay. And she's like, so babe, I'm sorry, we're going to have to postpone till tomorrow. No big deal, but she was like, but I'll take care of you in another way, if you guys know what I mean. And I was like, okay, cool, But it was in the evening, and I go jump in the shower. I get in the shower, and when I'm in there, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I like, her doing that to me. Of course, it's not a sinful thing or anything. We're married and all of that. But there's something about it sometimes where I'm like, I would rather just make love to my wife. And I know this, the longer that we go between having sex with each other, like, so it's been 3 or 4 days or something like that, or maybe she's been on her time of the month and it's been, 5 or 6 days, like, that next lovemaking session is bananas. Like, it's crazy. It's like so amazing. And so I was thinking to myself in the shower, okay, well, she could take care of me. Sure, it'll feel good and that's awesome and cool. But, like, I'm not a 20-year-old who needs this all the time. Like, I've had sex or that like 10,000 times in my life. So it's like, I don't, I would rather have a moment than a feeling, if that makes sense. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to wait till tomorrow because the lovemaking will be even better. Well, so what I do is I'm in the shower and I'm thinking that, I'm like, okay, for sure, that's what I'm going to do. I'll make that. And then, I'm like, because I'm always talking with God. I'm like, God, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to offer this up, and blah, 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 blah. Well, I get out of the shower and I'm drying off, and Diane's like, hey, basically like, why don't you go lay on the bed? I'm about to take care of you. And I said, I was like, nah, babe, I know you're not feeling the best. It's late. And I'm like, Don't even worry about it. Let's just wait till tomorrow, till tomorrow and we can, make love. And she's like, no, it's no big deal. Like, I don't mind, And I'm like, no, let's not do it. But in my head, the dialogue's running, and it basically my mind's saying, dude, like, make it happen. Like, come on, it's going to feel good. Like, it's like the devil on my shoulder. And like I said, it's not a sin. So it's like, yeah, I could do it, And, sorry. And so I'm thinking to myself, I don't know, maybe I should. Well, then basically I just tell her like, no, babe, I'm not going to. And by doing that, I was like kind of let down on myself in a little bit. I was like, that would have been nice. So anyways, make a long story short, we go to bed. She doesn't do it, right? Because I say no. We lay down, do our normal night routine. She goes to sleep. And that's when when I'm laying in bed, falling asleep, I just have time with God. I'm talking to him, listening for his voice, all of that. Well, when I'm laying there talking to him, literally, no joke, I have the most insane feeling ever. It's this feeling of peace, of joy, of calmness, something that's like something that just can't be irreplaceable on earth. Like you just can't feel that. And I was like, what is that? I'm like, that is weird. And I'm thinking, and what God told me at that moment was, you chose love in that moment of not having Diane take care of me, that he was rewarding me and showing me this is what a Christian husband does, and this is what happens when you choose love, and this is a little glimpse and slice of heaven. And to me, it was so profound. But it goes deeper than that, because Diane knew in the moment I wasn't just like, had she told me, oh, babe, my stomach hurts, and I got mad or upset or frustrated or like, oh, yeah, okay, sure, that wouldn't have moved our relationship forward. That would have controlled my emotions. I would have went to bed frustrated, and so she would have then we would have woke up bad the next morning. But had I even just let her go down on me, excuse me, I'm not trying to get too vulgar here, so forgive me for saying it, but whatever, and it was just about me, even though it was like she had 100% coolness with that. She knows in that moment, subconsciously in her mind, that I was choosing to not do it because I was putting her first. Well, she was putting me first. So we both won in that moment because we are each putting each other first. By that happening, do you think that's going to move the relationship forward? Absolutely. Absolutely. She knows that I put her first. And I know she puts me first. And to me, that means the world to me. That's how we have such a great relationship, because we do that first. I guarantee, and this isn't me flexing like I'm better than everybody. You take 1,000 husbands, randomly select them, give them that exact scenario that their wife is going to do that to them. I guarantee you 2 might end that same way. So what I'm saying is less than 1%. So what I'm saying is we're trying to be the 1% of the 1%. That's why we're high-level husbands. And you think to yourself, well, that sounds lame. Well, dude, I just got rewarded after that by God in a feeling that was far better than any orgasm. Just being real with you. And that was huge. So when we choose love, good things happen. So another story, and I don't think I've ever shared this on here, but it's a little bit different. So it's not necessarily about a scenario, but that one specific scenario. But over the course of our relationship, me and Diane have been through everything together. Everything. She was 17, I was 18 when I got together. So we've been through everything. Me leaving for the military, me being in jail, me cheating on her, me being a drug addict, us splitting up, her dating plenty of other people, me dating other people. Just literally anything, us going through so many different things together. We've been through so much together, moving like states, starting businesses, raising kids, like literally names, parent deaths, like everything we've been through together. Well, our course of our sexual history, we've I would say, especially earlier on, pretty simple and basic. We probably had the typical 6 moves we would rotate through, that everybody has. I used to joke with Diane, and if she was on here, she would tell you the same thing. I would call her the beanbag because she doesn't drink, but she used to, so she was a little more lively. Not saying drinking is better by any means. No, not at all. Sometimes it makes people's inhibitions and things happen. Well, she got into this weird funk because of where her health was at, where her body image was at, all of that for a while. I called her the beanbag, joking with her. Looking back now, probably not too cool of me, because I don't want. And when I meant that she just laid there, I mean, I said she had like a few moves she stuck to, and it wasn't nothing crazy. Still love her, nothing else. And I'm telling you, if she was here, she would be laughing and joking because she's 100 knows this 100%. We're at such a good spot, doesn't matter. Well, progressing throughout our relationship, especially when she found like personal development, faith, and all of that, and found self-worth and confidence and started leading herself well, you know what she found? The bedroom got like crazy. Like she started growing in the bedroom and like being willing to, like, not willing, like I'm pushing her to do it, but like her initiating to do different things in different positions and different times of the day and all this different stuff. She started doing that. And it was super cool. Obviously it got better, like just makes intimacy better because it mixes it up. And we'll go through phases. I don't know how about you guys in your relationships, but like you'll go through what we feel like we go through phases where we'll find like a couple of moves that we really love and it's like a new one, and it's like, oh man, we'll mix that in and out, and then after a while we'll have a new one, so then that one kind of gets like shuffled down the conveyor belt, and the new one's like in, for like months if not year, right? Like, and we rotate between multiple different ones. Well, we've she's gotten more open to a lot of different things. Nothing crazy. Not like we've ever brought in other people, nor want to other do anything like that. But what I've noticed is my faith life, and I believe Diane's as well, because there's been things we've removed from sex from us because of this. And it usually starts with me because I'm so in tune with like the spirit of like, that kind of makes me feel like I'm kind of doing something I shouldn't be doing. Then I'll tell her that because we're so open and honest with each other. And the next thing you know, next time I maybe go to do that, because maybe I'm just worked up in the moment, she'll be like, no. And then later I'll be like, what happened? You used to love that. And she's like, yeah, but when you mentioned that you don't like it, it like opened it up for me to think about, maybe I don't either. Maybe that is, we shouldn't be doing that, or I feel kind of weird about it, just different things. And so we've removed things. But what I've noticed is any time that my faith life is just a hair off, I want to do nastier things to Diane in the bedroom. My faith life typically doesn't get too far off just because that's my everything. But let's just say the world's coming at me and I'm, for whatever reason, basing my decisions on my feelings and emotions and not my commitments during that specific time. And the world's coming in and maybe I'm stressed or whatever it may be. Maybe that's impacting my faith life a little bit. Maybe I'm not getting as deep of prayers because I'm stressed and I'm thinking about business instead of thinking about God. I want to do nastier things to Diane in the bedroom. Every time. It's crazy. But every time I'm just at peace with like life and God, and I'm just so connected to him, those things don't cross my mind. And if they do, I just like slap them away and just be like, nah, I'm good. And I just do me, just like do like, I know it sounds weird in that situation, do me, but like, just do what I'm supposed to do. And it was such an eye opener of how much faith and love impact love making. So I wanted to share those because us being able to talk about those things and me saying to Diane, like, hey, I feel like a little bit like, I don't know, there's something about my spirit that tells me we shouldn't be doing this right here. That is open communication. That shares with her. Well, all of a sudden, if I just stop and she's like thinking to herself, well, why is he not doing that to me anymore? What's going on? Is he just like regressing in sexually and is he not wanting to do these things anymore? Or maybe her doing those things. And now I'm thinking, is she going back to be the BMAG? Well, no, like I would think that, right, if she didn't share these things with me. But because we're so open, we know why things are happening or not happening. Well, then we become close. Most couples do not know each other. Most couples have no idea who their wife or husband is. And that's just the truth. I could not tell you how be any more realer with that. Most couples don't know each other. You really don't. You know what they look like naked. You know what they do for work. You know what they like to eat, what they don't like. You know how they react in certain situations. But you don't know the real, true thoughts, real vulnerability of each person. Most people don't. Most have no idea because they live in fear. They live in judgment. But they also haven't built up honesty and trust and communication. So I wanted to keep this one short because I just wanted to get in here and share that. And it's getting later. And I just wanted to jump in and say, hey, this is something I want you to take a peek at and like watch your faith life and watch the bedroom, but also choose love in certain situations and watch what happens. This is like higher level stuff because I know a lot of people that listen to our podcast and our content struggle with intimacy in their marriage. These type of principles apply to anything in life. So if you're a little bit off in your faith, it may not be the bedroom, but you're going to be a little off. You're going to want to speak to your wife just a little bit differently, or your husband. If you're a little bit off in your faith life, those things are going to happen. But if you choose love, like I chose in that was a sexual situation, like the first story, if you choose those in other areas, good things are going to happen. And it doesn't always have to be sexual, like just serving and loving on your spouse. No hidden agendas, just wanting them to feel loved. Watch what happens. Because what Jesus says in the Bible, he says, you clothed me when I was naked, you visited me when I was in jail, and you fed me when I was hungry. And the apostle said, no, we didn't. We never did that. And he said, no, what you do for me, what you do for others is what you do for me. So his people he was talking about. So when you do that for your spouse, you're doing it for Jesus. So no wonder I had that crazy feeling that night. There's levels to the game. And it doesn't have a finish line. When you realize that all your goals don't have a finish line, that they just keep going, it just gets wilder and wilder and wilder. And it becomes more and more fun. I promise you. So apply these and test them out. If anybody ever needs coaching, reach out. You can go to our website, highlevelhusband.com, and check out our options. You can DM us on Instagram, Tommy McCollister or Diane McCollister. Reach out. We lead very, very uniquely and differently, and we're totally different than what you would think most people who do marriages are, which is why we get really good results. So anyways, guys, love you. Have a fantastic day. God bless you.